Howdy, tubers and footers. How is everybody doing today? I hope you can hear me. It is an exciting day. The teams are back on the trail out of Nome. They've had all their wrenching time and they're back on the trail. The sleds are out of the garage and back into the wilds of Alaska. So, what's going on today is always during the Iron Dog, part of doing the Iron Dog is facing the winter storm out of Nome. That is what this is where there's a lot of places during the race where your weekend rider basically says goodbye to the Iron Doggers. And what that means is there is terrain and nature that they face that is unlike anything else. And in order for them to even get through it and to persevere, takes skill beyond recognition. Hey, Judy, Gary Spike Sr., welcome. Lanky boy, what's up? So they are in this section here where they are leaving the Nome garage and they are heading into this winter storm in Alaska. And it is very dangerous. When Missy and I went out into that winter storm, you seriously could not see this far in front of you. It was whiteout conditions. And the whiteout conditions and the overflow and all of that kind of stuff that they are going to face right now is a bit intimidating. So last night, the teams made the decision. They voted on it because the executive was ready to let them wait out another day instead of going out in these conditions. And they voted, nope, this is what makes the Iron Dog the Iron Dog. We have to go through this storm. That's part of doing the Iron Dog, is making it through this storm. So they're out in it right now. They're in the thick of it, and the conditions are intense. They're scary. They're facing major overflow. They've got open water. There is, like I said, whiteout conditions. This is the part of the race where the field gets entirely separated a lot of the times. So keep that in mind, as they go make their way up to Nome. It's usually some of the fastest speeds, but they are facing some of the roughest terrain outside of Wasilla. You've got your big 4-foot whoops to get through, and by the time you're in the back of the pack, they're brutal. Patrick Vaughn, welcome. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and let you guys see where the teams are, and I'm going to try and talk you through this as much as possible. I'm really excited. Everybody's doing really good. I'm so proud of all these teams. It's such an incredible event, and I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. So let me see if I can share my screen. See if we could do this. I don't know, sometimes I wonder. All right, we're going to share the audio too so you guys can hear some of the stuff if I get over to it. All right. Here we go. All right, tubers and footers, let's check out the latest news. If you go to the Iron Dog webpage, you will get the articles on their latest news. Please go there and check it out and read up on what is going on with the event. It's really good stuff. We've got here is our current race standings. Now keep in mind, as they come into the checkpoints, the checkers do not have time to update the standings while they're dealing with teams, fueling them up and checking them in and out and watching their clock time. So keep that in mind. These are not, as you'll see, up to date with the GPS. That's why it's interesting to watch both of them. So here are the standings. Right now, we have got Team 7. Look at those. They are just holding it down. Way to go. Way to go. Oh, I'm so excited. I just, these guys are awesome. All right. shut my face. Here we go. Team 7 with a course time of 34 hours, 38 minutes, and 51 seconds have checked out of Unalakleet and headed south. They're trying to get ahead of this nasty stuff that's coming in. There's even more coming in, so they're trying to get out ahead of it. As you can see, their course mileage is 1,745 miles on the books. And their average speeds, these are their average speeds. They're at 50.36 miles an hour. Now, when we go over to the GPS, we'll click on that and I'll show you that their current speeds are far different than their average speeds. There are times where these guys are going well over 100 miles an hour. So they are putting the hammer down. They are running consistent and clean, and they're way to go, guys. And not far behind them in second place is Team 14, and they have made up some serious time. And if you look at, let's roll this up so you guys can look at this. This is where you see their times right here. So south, they have checked out this is Team 1's time. They've checked out a Unalakleet south, okay, because remember they had north and now they're southbound. They're right here at 12:09:44 seconds. It does get down to the seconds in these races, so keep in mind. And here, these guys came through at 1:13 and 27 seconds, so just behind them. They've made up a lot of time. They did have about a half an hour lead, and Team 14 is quickly coming in. So a lot of these times are made up in the garage, which is really cool. So that is something I'll talk about more, but we'll go ahead and get through the lineup here. So the second place team is Boylan and Leslie, Team 14 with their course time of 34 hours, 42 minutes, and 34 seconds. They are not far behind the leaders. And they are at course mile 1,745 miles are in the books. And their average speed is 50.27 miles an hour. Averages. They're flat out booking. And in third place is Team 39, Barbara Lapham. And they have got a course time of 35 hours, 3 minutes and 35 seconds. They have checked out of Unalakleet and they're headed south. Their course mile is 1,745 in the books, and their average speed is 49.77 miles an hour. In our fourth place, we have Team 23. Way to go, Miller Brothers. And they have a course time of 38 hours, 54 minutes, and 58 seconds. And they have checked out of Unalakleet headed south. And their average speed is 44.84 miles an hour. Our fifth place team is Team 49, Palin and Van Wingerden. Way to go, guys. With a course time of 39 hours, 51 minutes, and 9 seconds. They have checked out of Unalakleet, headed south, with an average speed of 43.79 miles an hour. In our sixth place, we have Team 31, Barber and Summer. Way to go. And they have got a course time of 37 hours, 46 minutes, 17 seconds, with an average speed. Well, hold on. Let me go back over here because they have changed. So they're at their course mile 1,642 miles in the books, and they have checked out of Koyuk, headed south. So they are headed towards Unalakleet, and their average speed is 43.47 miles an hour. So good on them. Our seventh place team right now is Team 19, Moore and Temple, with a course time of 38 hours, 21 minutes, and 9 seconds. They've checked out of Koyuk, and they are headed southbound with a course mile of 1,642 miles in the books, with an average speed of 42.81 miles an hour. Way to go. And in eighth place, recognize the name? Team 9, Barbara Conlin. Way to go, guys. And they have a course time of 39 hours, 38 minutes, 43 seconds. And they have checked out of Koyuk, and they are headed southbound. And their mile is 1,642 miles in the books, with an average speed of 41.42 miles an hour. Now, if you notice, this is a father. If you see all the barbers out there, that is the father and his two sons, and he also has a son-in-law in the race. So it's that is a family of racers. Looking forward to talking to them again. So again, Team 9, Wold Wold. Our ninth place team, Wold Wold, Team 41, with a course time of 40 hours, 14 minutes, 29 seconds. And they've checked out of Koyuk and they are headed southbound. Their course mile is 1,642 miles in the books, with an average speed of 40.80 miles an hour. Our 10th place team is Team 20, Kraus and Strobel, with a course time of 40 hours, 16 minutes, 16 seconds, and they have checked out of Koyuk, headed southbound, with a course mile of 1,642 miles in the books, and their average speed of 40.77 miles an hour. All right. We got another Team CC team. So Team 8 is in 11th place, Goiko Moen, and they have a course time of 40 hours, 52 minutes, and 48 seconds. They have checked out of Koyuk, headed southbound, and that was at 1,300. So they are booking. Here we go. Course mile 1,642 in the books, with an average speed of 40.17 miles an hour. In 12th place is Team 2, Kishba Sodasanti. They have a course time of 33 hours, 15 minutes, 10 seconds in the books, and they are taking a 14-hour layover in White Mountain, heading southbound. Their course mile at this current time is 1,552 miles, with an average speed of 46.67 miles an hour. And I do know that they are having issues, and they are waiting for parts in White Mountain. So that's why they're taking their layover right outside of Nome. And in 13th place is Team 28. This is our veteran racers. And this is Christensen Potter. Course time of 46 hours, 46 minutes, 30 seconds. They've checked out of White Mountain, headed south, and they have a course mile of 1,552 miles in the books, with an average speed of 33.18 miles an hour. Good for you guys. They're a really good team. I'm telling you, Potter is a great guy. I'm looking forward to interviewing him, because what he stands for and what he races for is amazing. He's always doing it for the veterans. So it's really cool. In 14th place right now are the ladies. Team 16, Gossett Wood, with a course time of 48 hours, 29 minutes, 51 seconds. They have checked out of White Mountain, headed south, and that was at 11:23 this morning. So they are at course mile 1,552 in the books, with an average speed of 32 miles an hour. And our Red Lantern team is Team 11, Kowalt Wagner. Look at those guys go. They are making it through some rough stuff, man, but they are persevering and they are really proving what the Iron Dog is all about. So bravo to Team 11. Way to go, guys. Kowalt Wagner, they're in 15th place with a course time of 55 hours, 13 minutes, and 7 seconds. They've checked out of White Mountain, headed southbound, and their course mile is 1,552 miles, with an average speed of 28.11 miles an hour. And our scratch list remains the same. We have Team 30, Elder Worley, have scratched out after Unilaclete. Team 3, Clewine, have scratched out after Unilaclete. Team 4, Baldwin Williamson, have scratched out after Galena. Team 10, Morgan Old, scratched out in Galena, but Chris Olds went on with Team 51 in the trail class to finish the trail class. So bravo. That is a veteran stepping in. Even though they scratched, the other team would not have been able to make it to the finish line at all. So there were some other issues. They couldn't do it solo. So Chris stepped in and brought that team to the finish, together as a team. And that is what the Iron Dog is all about. So way to go. So, and this one just breaks my heart, and I am trying not to cry. God dang, this one sucks bad, really bad. Team 13, Bauer Doll. Scratched out of Galena. Oh, I just, they are the only pro class team from out of state of a male female team. And the logistics that they have gone through to even pull up to the start of the Iron Dog and to persevere like they have, I am telling you, is just incredible. I love that team more and more every year. I really do hope they come back, because when they do, and put that it is going to be glorious. And my heart goes out to them right now. I love Leah and Jacob for everything that they've done and they continue to do. And they want that Iron Dogger veteran status, but they are proving also what this race is also about. So, just to pull up to the start of the Iron Dog is an accomplishment. It is truly an accomplishment, because it takes so much just to get to the starting line that it goes without saying. So again, my heart goes out to them, all the teams. So next in the list is Team 12, Collins Wiccan. They scratched outside of McGrath. Team 44, Ferraria, scratched out of McGrath. Team 37, Fosty Hildebrand, scratched out of McGrath. Team 21, Brewer Crandall, scratched out after Puntilla. And Hensley Lambert, Team 33, scratched out of Squentna. So we haven't quite reached half the field of scratched. Not yet. I shouldn't say not yet. But here you go. So let's switch over to our GPS trackers. So one of the things you want to do when you have your GPS tracker on is to click on the refresh every 60 seconds. And we'll go ahead and refresh where our team locations are. But I wanted to show you how much of the state these racers are covering. If you take a look at Alaska, it's not the tiniest state in the union. So keep that in mind. They're covering some brutal terrain in the worst conditions possible. So not only do they have to make it through this, but so do their sleds and their teammates. So here we go. Let's take a look at where we're at and the spread in the field. Woo! Putting it down, boys. Putting it down. Way to go. They're in Galena. Team 7 is in Galena. Looks like they're probably going to take a layover there. Way to go. They took a tiny one, I think, in Unilaclete, and then put the hammer down. Oh my gosh, that is so awesome. Way to go. That's just so damn exciting. Oh my God, that is so exciting. They got rockets on those things, man. Whoo! All right. So here is their front runners, and they're out. Our front runner is in Unilaclete. Looks like they possibly are taking a layover. I don't want to say for sure, but that looks like what appears to be going on. They may push forward to, I don't know, but I think they may hang out there for a bit. And we have got Team 14 coming up behind them, and they are on their way to Caltag right now. So as you can see, this was refreshed 4 minutes ago. Here we go. So 4 minutes ago, their GPS pinged at that location. Of course, they have moved since 4 minutes. And we've got Team 23 booking on down. Oh my gosh, they are flat out moving. And we got Team 49 right here. And we got Team 39 just coming in hot. Looks like they're in. We'll just zoom in a little bit more so you can see that how they're spread out. They're not quite on top of each other, but as far as the iron dog goes, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. So there you go. Now keep in mind when you're looking at this, so as you can see right now, they have their ping was 5 minutes ago. So as you can see, it's going to adjust. And as these pings are set out, each of the GPSs are set at different ping times. So they're not clogging all of that system up. So these teams are not as far apart as their pings may look. So keep that in mind. It's only when you actually check their ping ratio and the times, and then you can kind of see, well, if they pinged at the same time and they're spread out, there may be an issue going on. So, or if they keep pinging and they remain in the same spot, that could be an issue going on. So those are some of the things you're looking for as you watch these GPS trackers. So that's pretty cool. As you can see, Team 19 heading into Uniloclete. They are probably, they are there, and they are doing their due. I don't know if they're going to take a layover. Some can, some choose to push forward. That's the fun of the Iron Dog. Sometimes, in times past, the layovers were a major part of the strategy. Now they're trying to bunch all the racers up so they can get them in and out of checkpoints, and for safety reasons as well. It keeps the teams closer together instead of having them spread all out. So there's a lot of reasons why they change it. It is evolving all the time. And as you can see, Team 20 is coming on into Uniloclete. Team 41 heading into Uniloclete. Team 8 they are out of Shaktoolik. Whoops, sorry. Some of these names are kind of funny, these Alaskan towns, but that's Shaktoolik. And then they head out on the ice there. And so these teams are taking the overland trail right now because I believe they're going to run most of it overland because the ice is not quite open, but it's got about 4 foot of overflow on it right now in places. Inside, in and out of Koyuk for sure. So we've got Team 31 into Koyuk right now. And let's zoom in here so we can see what's going on here. We got Team 11, and what other team is in here? Oh, the ladies. Here we go. We got the women and Team 11. Looks like they're sticking pretty close together to get through that water. Good idea, good plan. Team 28. Oh, don't know what's going on with Potter. Huh. Oi. So, I hope, oops, sorry. Hope everything's going okay with those guys. Man, that dude has the perseverance of, I'm telling you. So let's check back in with you guys. See what's going on. See who's here. See what's happening. Oh, wow. Howdy, tubers and futters. What's happening, hot stuffs? Brian Martin, thanks for joining. Team 7 stopped to help somebody and broke trail around Golovin Bay. Oh, my gosh. And they're still putting it down. Wow. Those guys are amazing. Thank you, Brian, for the update. I truly appreciate that. DJ Talkeetna checking in. Way to go. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. How's the weather out there? Danny Staten, welcome, South Carolina. Jean Hudson, it's such a pleasure to see you, hon. Thanks for joining. Let's see, Lisa Kelly just did and scored new train horns. All right, The Living Journey, welcome. Thank you for joining. From upstate New York, woohoo! Got family there. Oh, Living Journey up there in New York says, how's Alaska treating everyone? Mother Nature's having a heat flash over there. She's having the opposite over here. She's having her cold flash over here. The iron duggers are going through a winter storm right now. Let's see, ice has disappeared and rivers are dissolving. The lake, now it's big snowstorm. Miss my ice fishing. Aw. All righty. Lisa Gray, welcome. I'll accept your tardy slip this once. I'm kidding. Uncle Bones, he's got your back. He's got your back. He's sliding in right with you. You're in safe hands, Lisa. You're in safe hands. Uncle Bones got you. He's a good guy. Good to see you guys. All right. Well, thank you all for joining. Let's check back in with the racers, shall we? All right. Let's see what's happening. I'll bring my screen back in and we go back into the woo. All right. We're going to show you the Iron Dog group on Facebook. So you guys definitely, if you're into Facebook, check this out. This is the only time of year I'm on Facebook is during Iron Dog because this is where you get your updates. And you get these awesome videos like Sam Senior, Torak. Look at this. Team 39, Iron Dog, Unilcleat southbound. Woo! This is where you get to see all these awesome videos of the teams coming in to these checkpoints. This is so great. And then is way to go, guys. Way to go. All right. And here we get some trail updates for the trail into Ruby. A.R. Madros is with Vern Albert. Here's the trail conditions in Ruby. If you guys are wondering what these Iron Doggers are going to face, here you go. Here you go. Just a little, just a tad. All right. Here's teams 49 coming through that open section in Koyuk here. Ready? You guys want to watch them do just a tad bit of water crossing. Woo! Zipping across. That's just overflow. It's just overflow. But it's not. That's really not what you feel like when you see that black spot on the river. It's not comforting, I'm telling you. All right. So we've got everybody, be sure to check out the page. Here's teammate coming into Elam, Kimberly K. She does they do a great job of sharing live feeds. I just love this when you get to see all this. Here they were. Here's Team 7, our champs, leaving Nome. I'll go ahead and blip, 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 blip. What a great team, eh? What a great team. Really great, good bunch of guys, too. We got to talk to them at the tech inspection. Hopefully we'll get to talk to them some more. Hopefully we get to talk to more of these teams. Maxine, sharing video. This is so awesome. So please go in and check this out. I do have permission And I'm going to look. Oh, look at that. There they were in Unilacleat, southbound. Miss Harriet Hamilton Finnerty. Now, Harriet was the race director when Missy and I ran. So when you see her comments in the Iron Dog group, check them out because she's got a lot of great insight that she brings to the table. This is Maxine bringing us Team 8. Chad and Cody coming in to Koyuk. Way to go. Oh, see, as you can see here, 2 hours ago, we have an update, Iron Dog Team 31. Kelly has a blown center shock. Currently on 1 hour layover in Koyuk. Yeah, Team 16 looked like they were working on their center shock before they left Nome. Let's see here. Maxine, thank you. Team 20 and Team 41. Great updates. So let me see if I can find some posts. There's our champions and our top runners. Because she has got some great awesomeness going on here for some updates. Look at these pictures. I'm telling you guys, this is the stuff to see. Look at the conditions. That's good. They got good visibility. Hold on just a sec here. There we go. Hopefully that worked. Team 14 through Koyuk. Misty and I got to take a tour of Koyuk. We went door to door in Koyuk in the middle of the night. It was exciting. All on the clock. That was a lot of fun. All right, as you can see, I'm in here just blabbing my face off as much as possible because I just love the Iron Dog. I just love it. All right, I'm looking for you. Team 23, our Miller brothers. Look at them go. Way to go. Woo! There you go. That's how it's done. See the waves? Like, whoom. They ain't even slowing down. They ain't even gonna check it. They don't even care. They just moving on through. Because why? Because they've seen it a million times before. There's your Iron Doggers for you. Oh, look at this. In and out. Let me give credit. Woohoo! Woo! Woo! Good times had by all. Oh! Yeah. All right. So be sure to get in there. Check it out. Chris Graber is in here screaming. She wants some live feeds out of Unilacleat. Annie Adams, thank you. Some great shots. Team 23 out of Nome. It's 7:30 this morning when they were getting ready to head out. All the work needs to be done on the clock. So as you can see, right before they head out, they're on the clock, making their adjustments, and they're getting ready to rock and roll. Let me see. I'll go ahead and share. Thank you, Kelly. I want to be there so bad. My poster just fell down. Oh well. I can't handle all the excitement going on in here. Oh, I better shut this down, or we're gonna be see big storms moving into Caltag. Warm, wet snow. We'll see how much snow by morning. All right. So Stan Brown has been giving great updates on the team splits, which is a great thing. If I find right on. Team 9 and now to Elam from Nome. Here we go. Let me actually move. I want to find what I'm looking for is, sorry, I hope I'm not scrolling too fast for y'all. Look at this. Look at this in Koyak. Yeah, having a creamsicle. I remember that place very well. Very, very well. That's where we went door to door, running around Koyak in the middle of the night. Team 23 in and out of Elam from Nome. Anyhow, there's great videos in here for you guys to check out. You definitely want to check them out. Here's that video of Team 23 leaving. We were just watching that from Kelly's perspective. That's Kelly right there. She's my little Iron Dog savior down there at Iron Dogger. So here is Harriet Hamilton Fennerty. She gives these amazing updates. So she has given me permission to read these updates. So this was her update as of 11 hours ago. So let me just check back in with you guys real quick before I get into anything. Hope everybody's doing good. Hey, Ken Squatch, welcome. Welcome. Thank you, Sharon Guy. Welcome. Yeah, I would do anything to be out there. Anything. Anything. But you know what? Miracles happen every day. And I'm getting better every day. You never know. If I'm 90, I'll still go run that thing. It might take me 900 years, but all right. So here's Harriet's highlights. Weathering Wednesday, 2/22/23. Approximately 5 hours of runtime to Uniloclete for the leaders. Look for teams to arrive in Uniloclete just before noon and by 2 to 3 p.m. this afternoon for the back half of the board. Keep in mind that layovers can be taken at White Mountain and Koyuk. Nome work time leaderboard changes. If I am reading the leaderboard correctly, the work time adjustments in Nome are on the timesheets. See the chart in the photos. This is unofficial. The positions that changed on the garage floor goes to the tightest race within the race between Team 41, 20, and 8. Team 8 work time was 24 minutes, while Team 41 had the fastest at 2 minutes and 7 seconds. That's some racing done at 0 miles per hour, and it moved Team 41 into a money position at 10th place. Great racing, Wold. Bravo. Team 31 and Team 19 are still duking it out with 5 minutes between them. So I'm going to interrupt this little update here. And what she's talking about in this Nome work time is when the teams come into Nome, they're given their wrench time in the garage. This is the only time the sleds are allowed in a garage to melt, get all the snow off them, warm up, get everything to where they can actually work on it with pneumatic tools, because everything else is done on the trail with hand tools. So in the garage, depending on the damages that need to be done and the replacement parts and things like that, this is where the field can change quickly. They're not racing, but they are racing. Everything is done on the clock. So all their wrench time in the garage in Nome is on the clock. So that's why when you were watching those Nome Wrench Time garages, they were just in there booking, and it's like they do not waste any time. So before they go into Nome for that wrench time, they get a 15-minute where they can observe and check out their sleds and see what they need. And that gives them an idea of the parts and everything that they're going to need to get done during their wrench time. And so then that gives them time to either order parts, get parts, things like that. Then they schedule their time to go in on the clock and work on their sleds. And they'll have two officials there timing them. So it's really awesome. It's really intense. And now the teams are allowed to have mechanics in the garage. So before, it used to only be racers that could touch the race sleds. So if you were broken down and needed help, you had to ask another racer to help you work on your sled in the garage. And that's one of the beautiful things about the Iron Dog is the community in it. Those racers are there to help one another because they know how difficult it is just to get to the finish line. And so in the garage, they will be doing anything to help their other teammates out, and it's really, really awesome to see the sportsmanship with the Iron Doggers because there's nothing like it in any other race, guaranteed. So it's really unique and it's amazing to watch how quickly and you watch the like at NASCAR and some of those racers when they come into those pit stops and they're whoop, 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 whoop. That is what it's like in the Iron Dog. They are on the clock and they are moving as fast as they can to get everything done. They are changing tracks out, carbides. They are doing shocks, all sorts of repairs. It's intense. And depending on what has broken down, depends on what they do. Sometimes they have to pull out their whole slide, which is the rear suspension of that sled, and work on all the different parts. And let me tell you, you cannot replace that piece. So if that whole part comes apart, you're done. You're done. So there's sections, the same with your block on the engine. So they can't just fully, even if they have air support, they couldn't just drop them a new new snow machine down. They couldn't just drop in a new motor. They couldn't just drop in a new rear suspension. So that keeps it exciting and it keeps it competitive. All right, so back to Harriet's update. So, weather rookies. Iron Dog Racing offers up some of the most brutal cross country racing. Alaska offers up some of the most brutal weather. Racing in ground storms, whiteout conditions, and wicked cold temperatures is typical Iron Dog. When I look at the board this morning, we have to go down the last three teams to find out what I call weather rookies Christensen, Gossett, and Kovault. While Team 19 is the leading rookie team, they have been on the Iron Dog Trail before but didn't finish in 2022. Pro versus pedestrian. So here we go again. I have always said Iron Doggers were a breed of their own. I think the term next level is the only way to describe the caliber of racers that remain on the Gnome Restart list, because there is nothing pedestrian about their ability. They have made it to milepost 1482. The Iron Dog is a team race for good reason. Decisions are made by both teammates. One facet of teamwork is trust. They recognize their limits. They will race within their ability. As the keyboard racers and fans that we are, we too have to trust in them. Pray for their safe race, hold our breath if necessary, watch those blue flags ping across Norton Sound coast today. When they get to Koyuk and Unalakleet, let's hear our collective roar. Cheer for the most amazing next level racers on the planet. Go Iron Dog 2023. Nome 6 a.m. predictions. Let's see, we've got 28 degrees with 18-mile-per-hour winds. Cloudy overcast until 9 a.m. Snow rain mix starts at 9 a.m. Sunrise at 9:30 a.m. White Mountain, 31 degrees, 11 to 30-mile-per-hour winds from 6 a.m. to noon. 1 mile of visibility, cloudy until noon. Snow and rain mix beginning at 12:02 p.m. Now these are Alaska times. Koyuk, 33 degrees, 15 to 25-mile-per-hour winds. Snow rain mix flurries from 12 p.m. until 3 a.m. on the 23rd. Unalakleet, 35 degrees at 10 a.m. 9-mile-per-hour winds. Snow rain mix begins at noon. Caltag, wet and heavy snow as of 1:30 a.m. to 22:23. Stopping at about 6 a.m. is predicted. Temperatures range from 30 to 36 degrees. So here were the Nome departure times. This is in the morning. Team 7 left at 5:33 in the morning. Team 14 was out at 7:36. See, they break it. The top teams go out in their time differences, and then they start letting them out in like 5-minute increments after a certain part. So there you go. So let's take a look at some of these, hopefully. I don't know. I have such a terrible time on clicking on these photographs. So here is some Nome wrench time. So as you can see, these guys are working in there hard. They're all on the clock. They've got their mechanics, and the racers have to be present. Here was the unofficial Nome start times. So as you can see, this were the teams heading out of Nome, and here were the times that they went out. Huh, they got to leave early. All right. So here you go. Here were the official Nome departure times. 6 a.m., 6:29, 6:45, 7:15, 7:30, 7:45, 8, 8:06, 8:21, 8:36, 8:41, 8:46. So as you could see, as they change, they're and this will be a good time to go through the rest of the rules as well, I think, because this is where a lot of this stuff applies. So here was the live tracker with our ambassador team is back in Anchorage. All right, there's our leaderboard. Kind of looked at that. All right. Hopefully it'll get me. Guy. All right. Let's just go here. You guys don't want to see my nonsense. All right. So, thank you, Sharon. Thank you. Lisa Gray. Yes, Gary Spikes, just like the pit crews on NASCAR. That is just like it. And man, they are bucking. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Can Squatch, does it take long for the ice to melt off the snowmobile? Depends on how rough the terrain was, because sometimes they can get a lot packed up in there. But it usually after a couple hours, all the snow is melted out of them for sure. So that's usually what happens. The teams come in, they get their sleds in the garage, and they get to go and take a nice breather because they get at least a minimum of 40-hour layover. So they get to go and kind of shake it all off, take showers, get a really good meal, and that's what's awesome. And no, man, it's a fun place to be when the Iron Dog teams are in because it's exciting. The town is alive and buzzing, and all of the towns along the Iron Dog route is just a great time to be around because a lot of them don't get to see, much people coming through their villages because the only way you're getting to these villages is by snowmobile, uh, small plane, boat, things like that, ATV of a sort. A lot of them, is so remote. So this is a big deal for a lot of the villages, and without them and their support, the Iron Dog wouldn't even be possible. So it's a beautiful relationship, and I just think the Iron Dog is so awesome, and I am so excited that you guys are here this year and we're doing this. Like I said, next year I plan on doing this more proactively. I didn't step in till kind of the last minute. We had a lot going on. So once I kind of got readjusted, it was like, oh, I definitely got to do this. And it is my passion. The Iron Dog is part of my identity. It is, in my soul, I would have done anything to run again. And my big deal was I wanted to run another women's team. And and I passed up a lot of really good opportunities to run with other men. And sometimes I kind of regret those decisions. So always during Iron Dog, it's kind of an emotional time for me, especially with blood cancer. Leukemia is a blood cancer. So it kind of turned my bones to mush. And when I tore my ACL during a race, and that was kind of the first real, like, there were other indicators before that where I just wasn't quite up to snuff, but that was a clear, like, something is going on with my body. And because before I was so strong and just I felt like, I don't know, I just felt like I could do anything. And so, I put my body through a lot, and I had persevered a lot, even with a lot of the other sicknesses that I have, and so getting to that point, like, I wasn't supposed to see my 27th birthday, that a doctor actually told me that. And so, like, getting past that point, doing the Iron Dog, things like that were always stepping stones where it's more than just the accomplishment. It was my way of saying, "Yeah, I'm alive." You no one can write someone's date down and say when they're checking out. That's God's job. So, I I would call that doctor every year. Every year I called that doctor and told him on my birthday, "Guess what? You're not God. I made it through another birthday." And I got a cease and desist letter from his lawyer after like the 10th year of doing that. So I don't know. That's kind of funny to me. Pretty humorous. So to me, the Iron Dog is something that I truly love and would do anything to do it again. And Missy and I often say, we should have done it again together. And, so there's a lot of those shoulda, woulda, coulda. So don't ever get to that point in your life. If there's something that you think you want to do it. Go for it because you never know otherwise. You never know otherwise. And so, I keep looking forward. I will never, ever give up. So it's coming. It's going to happen. And hey, it when that day comes, what a glorious day that will be, right? All right, let's go through the rules if you guys want. Are you guys up for that? I did, Danny. I framed that letter and hung it on the wall. And, yeah, it was one of those little things. Cans, on your birthday, you should post his name on your Facebook timeline. I love how you guys think like me. Hey, it keeps people humble, right? I mean, seriously, why would you tell someone that? I was only 22 at the time. It was horrible. Okay, so do you guys want me to switch over so you guys can read along, or what do you think? What y'all think you want to do? Because I could do that if you want to do that. Um, that's probably best because I think a lot of people like to read as well. So let me just do that. Get this here. I'll go over here to our rules. Hello. There we go. Nice. Pick up where you left off. Isn't that fancy? All right. I'll just read along here. Okay. So, the disciplinary committee. General. The disciplinary committee shall be made up of one race marshal, chosen by the race marshal team, one current board member, chosen by the board of directors, and one previous Iron Dog race veteran, not currently racing or in conflict of interest, chosen by popular vote of current year Iron Dog Pro Class racers. The selection will be administered by the executive director prior to the beginning of the race. The disciplinary committee must be available 24 hours a day each day of the event to adjudicate upon an appeal lodged as a result of a protest to a race marshal decision. The disciplinary committee shall have the authority to pronounce the following penalties following an appeal hearing: warning, time penalties and adjustments, fine, a maximum of $500 per offense, disqualification, and suspension or exclusion. The disciplinary committee shall have the authority to make rulings only after an appeal has been appropriately filed and the hearing taken place. The disciplinary committee shall process appeals in accordance with these rules. Offenses. General. Now, remember, the things that are in yellow bold have changed and they are new. So general. This list is provided as guidance to competitors and enforcement bodies but does not restrict Iron Dog Race Inc., race marshals, or the disciplinary committee from invoking penalties for other actions detrimental to the sport that are not specifically contained herein. Falsifying one's name, age, or ability level, or competing under false pretenses. Non-compliance with, well, as far as like the you used to have to have top 10 finishes in other pro class races in order to enter the Iron Dog. I don't think that is required anymore, but that was one of the things. So if you claimed that you had done a bunch of races and you hadn't, you would, whew, you could suffer you could even suffer a disqualification. So, non-compliance with snowmobile requirements, GPS tracking system requirements, racer protective equipment, and survival equipment. Violation of general race rules, failing to attend mandatory racer meetings, riding in such a manner as to endanger the safety of others, failing to stay on the race course in designated race course areas, except by their official support crew in the Nome garage, a pro class racer accepting assistance from a non competitor, including scratched or off the clock pro class racers, that aids in adjustment and or repairs of their snowmobile and or equipment. So what they're saying there is only racers, and they have a support crew that they list to the Iron Dog race officials, and only those people can touch those sleds. If anybody else touches those sleds, they will suffer a potential disqualification, time back, all sorts of stuff. And sadly, that has happened to a champion team. They had crossed the finish line first place, and unbeknownst to them, while they were working on one of their sleds, behind them, these kids were excited and they thought they were helping, and they jumped on to help thought they were doing a thing, and so they ended up getting that team disqualified, which was heartbreaking. So that almost happened to Missy and I. Like I said, when we ran, there was a lot of we faced a lot of obstacles, and some of the obstacles that we faced was pretty difficult. But even in our own households, we had some issues, and so we almost got disqualified when a partner tried to come over and grab a ski loop when we were flipping our sled over, and I ended up just plowing him off the sled at 100 miles an hour. And luckily everybody saw that, it was not like, as soon as I saw what it was like, get your hands off the sled. Do not touch our sled. And luckily that was, say, it was a close call. but he barely touched the sled, but yeah, before I just was off that thing and just threw him. All right. That went down the wrong pipe. Okay. Failing to adhere to the race marshal's directions, refusing to provide a true and factual statement regarding an item under protest or appeal when requested by race marshal team or disciplinary committee in interfering with the protest and appeal process. Attempting to gain an unfair advantage, wagering on the outcome of the race, conspiring with others to violate these rules, engaging in any unfair practice, misbehavior, or action deemed by the race marshal team or the disciplinary committee to be detrimental to the sport. Bribing or attempting to bribe anyone connected with the race, accepting or offering to accept a bribe. Participants are strictly forbidden to drink intoxicating beverages during the race, starting 8 hours before the scheduled start through crossing the finish line. That means they cannot drink in Nome. Participants will be allowed to drink intoxicating beverages during banquets. Oh, okay. Well, apparently they could during Nome, but not to excess. Any support persons associated with a participating race team is forbidden to drink intoxicating beverages to excess during the race. Any racer, family member, or support crew who fails to adhere to this may be subject to penalties. All state and local laws regarding intoxicating beverages still apply. Possession to use Possession or use of illegal drugs or drug substances, as defined below, is prohibited in any form by any participant on the race facility or in any area considered to be used in the operation of the face. I think that's supposed to be race of the race facility, such as parking lots or leased properties. Illegal drugs are the substances defined and prohibited by state, provincial, and federal laws. Any person found to be in possession or under the influence of an illegal drug or drug substance on the race facility property as defined above, or any person who is arrested by duly constituted authorities and charged with possession and or use of illegal drugs or drug substance, or any person who is formally charged by a court of law with illegal drug violations shall be subject to suspension from competition and eviction from the race facility, and denial of further entry to the race facility for a period determined by the board of directors. If a participant is using prescription drugs on advice of a physician, such use must be reported to the race marshal team. There you go. I believe there has been issues with that in the past. There's also, you have to keep in mind, there are dry villages along the Iron Dog Trail. And if you bring alcohol into those villages, that is a federal offense. Penalties. General. A participant may have several penalties pronounced against him or her according to the circumstances given rise to a violation. Excuse me. It shall be the goal of the race marshal team and the disciplinary committee to administer penalties under these rules fairly and equitable as the different circumstances given rise to an offense shall allow. Definition and application of penalties. Warning can be made privately or publicly, verbally or written. Fines, cash penalty, time penalty. The race marshal team shall determine the amount of time a particular violation benefited a participant, and that time shall be added to the participant's overall course time. The race marshal team can penalize a participant by adding to the participant's overall course time based on the level of severity. Disqualification. The decision to disqualify a participant must be unanimous and confirmed by each member of the race marshal team. The disciplinary committee shall confirm or reject the disqualification within 12 hours of the last finishing team. No disqualification will take place until after the finish. What? Huh. Oh, that would suck. Oh my gosh. Could you imagine? I don't know if I read that right, but if you got disqualified, let's say Squentin northbound, you did something that, and then you ran the whole entire race, finished top team, whatever, and then they decide, oh, that would suck. That would suck so bad. Huh. I wonder. I'll have to verify that. I don't know. Disqualification will be noted as a scratch with additional notes in the race statistics software as deemed appropriate by Iron Dog Race Inc. Suspension entails the loss of rights granted to participants or prohibition from taking part in any of the activities under Iron Dog Race Inc. control for a specified period of time. Exclusion entails the final and complete loss of all rights of participation in any event under Iron Dog Race Inc. control. That would be mortifying. There have been many people that tried to get me excluded from Iron Dog because of my medication. I've actually had to deal with that. It was brutal. Any participant found in violation of these rules will be liable for the costs incurred in the disciplinary action and the determination of said infraction. Racer protests and appeal procedures. General. Any participant directly affected by others violating the rules or following dangerous, unfair, or fraudulent behavior or act of sabotage has the right to protest against such behavior or act. The procedures shall be followed for protests. Protests. Participants must file a protest during their next layover. Protests can only be filed at layover locations. For a protest to be considered, it must be signed by an active participant, and a protest submitted by a participant must include the $100 protest fee, payable in Nome or the finish line. If the race marshal team deems the protest valid, Iron Dog Race Inc. will retain $40 and $60 will be returned to the protester. If the protest is deemed invalid, 60 goes to the protested team. Protest will not be valid without the payment of the protest fee. Excuse me. Once a protest fee is accepted, the protest cannot be withdrawn. Alleged violations will be reviewed by the race marshal team in Nome for all northbound protests and at the finish line for all southbound protests. Protests must be more than hearsay or word of mouth allegations. You must bring your receipts, people. The participant or participants subject to protest will be notified of this action. Appeal. Participants penalized pursuant to these rules have the right to appeal. If the assessed penalties are greater than 4 hours, a disqualification has been assessed if the penalty was initiated by a protest. If appeals shall be adjudicated by the disciplinary committee, items which may not be appealed include appeals cannot be accepted related to matters for which no remedy is available. Appeals cannot be accepted relating to decisions made by the disciplinary committee. Participants must file an appeal at their next layover. Appeals may be filed with the race official at the checkpoint or submitted directly to the disciplinary committee via email. To be accepted, an appeal must be in writing and signed by both members of the race team. The appeal must specifically state the date, location, and elements of the matter being appealed and the grounds for appeal. While appealing, while appealing, a rule a ruling, a team may continue to compete in the race with documented approval from the disciplinary committee. However, this privilege may be denied if the protest or imposition of penalties is related to an offense involving drugs or alcohol, fighting, or malicious acts affecting the good name of snowmobile racing. An appeal must include a $300 appeal fee payable in Nome or the finish line. Appeal fees will be refunded if the appealing party prevails. The disciplinary committee shall rule on an appeal by Nome for all northbound appeals and by the finish line for all southbound appeals. The disciplinary committee shall take one of the following actions: rule in favor of the appealing party, take appropriate action, and refund the filing fee. Rule against the appealing party. The appeal is denied, and the original ruling of the race marshal stands. The following order of business will be followed at appeal hearings. After all evidence has been presented, the disciplinary committee shall deliberate in private. The disciplinary committee shall issue its ruling based on a majority vote by secret ballot. Time penalties. In the case of time penalties where the appellant is unsuccessful, the time penalties shall be enforced as ruled by race marshals. In the case of time penalties where the appellant is successful, the disciplinary committee may, but is not required to, equitably adjust the team's race course time as required so as not to unduly prejudice that team. Payment of fines and costs. In the case of a monetary penalty, if the penalty is definitive and either the fine and or the costs are not paid within 30 days of notification of the judgment decision, the participant or team affected by the decision shall be automatically suspended from participation in all Iron Dog Race Inc. activities until such time as full payment has been received. If an appeal is upheld, the appealing party will be refunded their filing fees. If an appeal is denied, the filing fees will be retained by Iron Dog Race Inc. All right, I'm going to check back in with y'all, and we're going to check in with the racers. Hold on. Howdy, tubers and footers. Oh, Sharon's making us dinner. Yum. All right. Actually, let me go ahead. I'm going to share this and we're going to check in with our race teams and see where they are. Shall we? Shall we? Yes. Refresh. All right. Iron Dog. Woo woo. Woo woo woo. Oh, come on. Wait. No. Whoops. Attach past Polaris. All right. So we have got our team one is still, our team 7, first place, is still checked out of Unilcleat South. So not much is updated there. Let's check down the roll call here. Unilcleat. All right. More of these teams are getting in to Unilcleat. Out of Koyak. Way to go. Out of Koyak. Out of Koyak. Out of Koyak. Oh, all right. Team 2 is out of White Mountain. Headed south. Way to go. All right. Okay. All right. Way to go, teams. Way to go. All right. Let's check our team locations. Oh. That's not good. Huh. Oh, I hope they're not broken down out there. Looks like the ladies are heading into Koyak. Let's scoot this. Oh, I am worried about Team 28. I'm just going to refresh this one more time. No. Yeah, the ladies are in Koyak. All right. I'm sorry. Team 31 heading towards Shaktuluk right now. Way to go. They are almost off the ice. You're not considered off the ice until you get to Unalakleet. Once you're on Unalakleet, then you know you're done off the coast and you're heading inland. So it's a refreshing checkpoint to get to. It's an unnerving checkpoint to come to heading north, and it is a refreshing checkpoint to get to heading south. So when Missy and I went across, there were waves out there, and it was like your brain just like you're looking at that and you're like, am I seeing? Am I seeing waves? I know I'm feeling them, but am I really seeing it? And as you're working through and you're just like, oh, good Lord, do not get water on the clutches. Do not let my belt slip. Do not let me slow down. Do not, like, oh, it was so unnerving. And you could just feel the sled just sliding out, underneath you. And it was just unnerving, because that whole ass end just gives and you could just feel it floating on water and there's nothing underneath there. There's nothing but the good deep, deep, deep water, that's over 800 feet below. And so, yeah, it was pretty unnerving. And then when there's just a little coating of snow on it, you get to see snow waves. those those are pretty cool. Little unnerving on your snow machine, but cool, I'm telling you. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Not for the faint of heart, for sure. It does test your ticker, just trying to get across it. So yeah, once the teams make it off the coast, they are like, all right, that we're done with that. There has been stories where John Feo, who is an amazing racer, he is like the to me, he's like the Dale Earnhardt of the Iron Dog. He's just that racer, he is supreme. And one of the teams were stuck out in over 4 foot of overflow. Okay, their sleds are down. They're in the water. They're in the water, And here comes Feo, just woo, just and then he comes back like woo, to help him out, like it's nothing. Like water crossing, I got this. And they were just so impressed watching him just like float across the water like it wasn't no big deal. So when you watch those veteran racers, I am telling you, Nome, and I keep saying this, but Nome is where your weekend warriors say goodbye to the Iron Doggers, because as they cross their way into that weather and those systems and that trail conditions, heading south is no joke. So good on these teams. Way to go, ladies, for pushing through and getting through that. They have they have they are the first and so far the only women's team to have done that Kotzebue loop. So bravo, ladies. Good for you. All right. So I hope everybody's doing good. I don't know. Well, let's see. How are we doing? Yeah, let's cut it here. We'll go ahead and come back and I will read the rest of the rules and we'll check back in with the racers here in a bit. But I would love for you guys to go on Facebook, check out the Iron Dog Facebook page, the Iron Dog Group Facebook page, and the Iron Dog Blog Facebook page. I am currently looking for someone who is good at administrating a Facebook page to administrate my Iron Dogger Facebook page, and then maybe we can get that going as well. But right now, I really don't deal with Facebook, so it's one of those things. We'll get there eventually. You know how it goes. Which one will find the crashed UFO first, right, Danny? Oh, we got to ask the racers that. We got to ask the racers that. Also, please, I would love for you guys to reach out to Leah and Jacob, Team 13, and send them your loves and send them all the good wishes you can. I know they are devastated from this year's turn of events, and my heart goes out to them. And I just love that team so much, and I really, really hope they come back and do it again. And it's kind of, I know it's one of those love-hate relationships where you're like, oh my gosh, there's so much money and time and effort that goes into it, and it distracts from everything else they do. And so it's a really tough decision to go, man, are we going to do it again? I don't know. But I really surely hope they do, because the the amount of perseverance and determination and sheer badassery for them to even get to where they've gotten in the race is phenomenal. They are the out of state only, first and only out of state male female team to run the Iron Dog. So good on them. Please give them our love, give them our support, keep cheering them on, and hopefully we'll be able to get them on and join us on the podcast when it's not so brutal and still so near and dear to the heart. We'll all be sobbing if that happens anytime real soon. So, all right, tubers and footers, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you guys making memories with me, making Iron Dog memories with me as well. So, thank you. Have a great evening. We'll catch up with you soon. Iron Dogger out. See you, tubers and footers. Toodly, toodly, too.